Here we are again, Octavio and Mo.
Yes.
So, I heard you got a problem with the red pill.
The red pill is telling men not to get married, and they are not taking into account that the marriage institution is what forms the nuclear families. So instead of the red pill saying, choose the right women, they're saying, because they believe that the laws are unfair to men, therefore, don't get married. But we know that marriage, the institution of marriage itself, is what allows for the nuclear families to form. And nuclear families is what forms communities, is what forms nations, is what forms countries. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you're telling them what, in essence, is what feminism is also telling people, to don't get married. I mean, feminism for a very long time, if anyone knows anything about the history of feminism, they will know that feminism has been trying to destroy marriage. So in a sense, they're working along without even knowing. I don't think they even know this, but without even knowing, they are helping feminism in the destruction of marriage.
I think I see what you're saying, but red pill would say that it's just, well, as you know, it's just not a good deal for men in the West. Maybe in non-Western countries, it's probably a good idea to get married, but in the West, the way that the laws favour the woman, and the way it can completely destroy a man and his family, and he'll get destroyed financially. He'll get destroyed by losing his kids, and then he's back to square one in the latter years of his life, trying to start from the beginning again. So it's. I think they've got a good point into not. I don't think I never really hear them say don't get married, but it's just like, if you get married, get a prenup, make sure you back yourself up, be aware of this situation. It's more awareness of marriage in the West, and the way the way society is.
Would you agree that whether your marriage is going to last or not last is dependent upon the type of women you choose in today's society? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, sort of, a little bit, but you need to. It's also mainly about what kind of man you are. What kind of man have you built yourself into be? Will demand the kind of woman you will get.
All right, so
and whether that woman you get respects you or not.
So let's run with that. All right, let's say you are a man of value, right? You've built yourself up, which every man should do. I agree with the red pill on that. Every man should build themselves up. That's extremely important. I'm going to make sure I do that, with my son and so on and so forth. But living in the West, aren't you always at danger when it comes to picking a woman? So, for example, if you don't know what kind of woman you should pick, all right? Because let's be honest, human beings are deceptive. Human beings can lie. So, if you pick a woman in the West, aren't you always at danger of her leaving and taking half of what you own?
Most divorces happen because of financial reasons. And I think a lot of it is because the woman doesn't respect the man. And a lot of it is that, most men are simps, basically.
So what you're telling me is that if you become a man of value, you'll be able to spot, and if you follow the red pill, you'll be able to spot what a good woman is and what a good woman isn't?
Well, it'll give you a damn sight better chance of spotting one than not being red pill
Yeah.
aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, massively increase it.
Okay. So it will. All right. What does the red pill tell us to do? To build yourself up as a man, right?
Yeah,
And look for feminine, fit, friendly,
submissive.
submissive women.
Yeah,
Okay. And those are the indicators, right?
yeah.
Okay.
But even then, even if you do find someone like that, they would probably not jump into. They wouldn't recommend jumping straight into marriage. But they're saying if you do marry, don't marry religiously. Don't get the government involved.
There's no way you can marry religiously without the state being involved, especially here in UK. So
What is it? Is it illegal?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
As a Catholic, I cannot marry a woman without the state laws being involved. It's literally impossible. Now, hear my argument, right? What I think the red pill should be doing is telling men what type of women to pick, because the institution of marriage is so important. The institution of marriage is what allows communities, is what allows countries, nations to be built upon. Because if two people are not married, if a man and a woman are not married, then they can just, the other person can just leave. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
So if the other person can just leave, then, well, look. Okay, let me put it this way, right?
But the thing is, at the moment, the other person just leaves anyway.
Yeah, because
So even with marriage,
so isn't it funny that as marriage declines, so does the nuclear families. So we've seen a rise in single motherhood. We've seen more broken homes ever since marriages have been declining, because men are not getting married anymore. Now, if Red Pill is saying to men, I mean, from what I'm hearing from Red Pill is, they're not, and I hear what you're saying, they're not necessarily telling men not to get married, but they're saying marriage, this is what I hear from them, marriage is not beneficial to men in today's age. Which to me essentially means that they are telling men not to get married. But they're not saying that unless you find a good woman. Well, how do you find a good woman in a world that's infested with feminism ideals?
main thing is be red pill aware, so you don't end up in divorce. I think in this situation.
But where's the? Okay, first of all,
It's more of a way to understand women and to deal with women rather than a religion to say don't get married.
okay,
That's how I'm seeing things anyway.
I would say that red pill is definitely an ideology.
Okay.
I would say that. Because it tells men what to do, and it tells men what to look for. When you've got those rules, so to speak, is there a guarantee? No, there isn't a guarantee.
There's no guarantee to anything.
From what I've heard from Red Pill, they literally say, men, don't. Listen. And the reason is, it's not that they don't believe in the institution of marriage, is that they believe that the women are so far gone in the Western world because of feminism that it's literally pointless and worthless for you to get married. That's what I heard from them. That's what I'm hearing from them. It's not that they don't believe in necessarily in the institution of marriage. It's that just they believe that the women in the West are just not worth it.
If you've made yourself a strong enough man in the process before marriage, you'll be able to almost train your woman and keep things in line, so hopefully you don't end up in divorce.
But where's the guarantee in that?
There's no guarantee. Yeah, so there's that's what, it's not a religion.
Yeah.
They're not guaranteeing anything.
Well, religion doesn't guarantee you salvation either.
But it can say if you do this, this, and this, and this, you will.
Well, not according to the Christian religion, anyway.
Okay.
Salvation is purely in God's hands. That's it. Period. No human being is good enough to even think of themselves in that level. You know, in terms of I'm guaranteed salvation. Like that's you. For you to have that level of thought or that level of belief. That would be so narcissistic. It's almost like you'd be putting yourself in a godlike state. It's like, how do you know you are a sinner?
Yeah, so it makes sense that red pill doesn't guarantee it.
No, it makes sense that red pill doesn't guarantee it. But my problem with the red pill is, they say, okay, if you observe these behaviors in women, then what? Can you marry her? Because I don't hear them saying that. I don't hear them saying, if you observe these behaviors in women, then yes, you can marry her. What I hear is, observing these behaviors are good things. They are good indication, but they are not necessarily saying marry. They're saying, you know what? In order for you to protect your assets, in order for you to protect yourself, because this woman can turn around tomorrow and say, no, I don't agree. He did something to hurt me, blah, 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 blah. And she can still take off. Because once you get married, that's it. She wins. If we're going to take the red pill stance, once she gets married, she wins.
Most men are gonna think that, oh, I've got this innate biological need to have kids. I need to get a woman. I need to get married. So it's solid. I need to have a kid. So the kid grows up in a solid environment.
Marriage comes from biology. It comes from our need as men to, first of all, create a legacy. And first of all, and second of all, protect and provide for a woman. Okay, so our main goal is to create a legacy. Our second main goal, which is what we are put on earth for, is to protect and provide for that woman. Okay, now the reason why marriage is so important is, first of all, it comes from that need. But the reason why marriage is so important is because it allows everyone to know that this person wants to do that and is ready to show not just the entire world, but also God why this is so important. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So this is why this is why the institution of marriage is so important, because let's not forget, women are the weaker vessel. So because women are the weaker vessel, they need that protection and provision, which only the men can provide to a woman. Okay, I know today a lot of women get help from governments and so on and so forth. Okay, for the entire human history, it wasn't like that. A man would have to step up and create that provision for women. Do you understand? So marriage is a promise that you're making, not just to her family, because that woman comes from a father. Not just to her family, not just to her people, but also to the government. And you're saying that I am ready to create something that will allow this woman. I'm able to involve myself and accept the consequences of like a legal let's say you know, when you get married, legally speaking, right? You face consequences for getting married, legally speaking. So if you divorce that woman is protected, and so on and so forth. So this is why marriage is so important. So you're telling the family, listen, I will protect and provide for this woman that you have raised, okay? And you're telling the law, listen, guys, if we divorce, you know, I'm ready to take the legal consequences of that of that divorce, so that the woman is protected and provided for.
But the woman's also protected even if they don't get married. Even if you don't get married and you have kids with someone and then you leave them, you still have to pay child support.
That's a protection.
Yeah.
For women.
So that's whether you're married or not.
No. What I'm saying is, whether you're married or not, explain that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, whether she's married or not, she's still...
If you have parental responsibility on that child, makes you responsible for paying child maintenance.
Yeah. No. What I'm saying is, of course, what you're talking about is the system that we are currently living under.
Yeah.
But the system that we are currently living under, okay, is new. And it's under feminist influence. And it's working towards destroying the institution of marriage. That's what it's been doing. This is why marriages have been declining. And anyone can literally research this. Marriages are declining every single year. Because the feminist ideology has been working towards making sure it's declining. This is why we have more broken homes. This is why we have more problems. This is why we have more of the problems that we are currently seeing right now. But for most of human history, the idea was, because biologically my instinct is to provide and protect for a woman and build a legacy, I would have to marry that woman, because you can't just take that woman away. You have to make a promise to that father that raised that woman. And you'd have to make a promise to the community that helped to raise that woman, that you are someone who is serious, that you are someone who will raise that woman, who will accept the responsibilities and the consequences of being with this woman and raising the legacy that you are looking after, that you're looking forward to. That is the purpose of marriage. And today, and look.
But you can't blame Red Pill for people not getting married. Because firstly, they're not actually telling people not to get married. They're just telling people to be RP aware, be Red Pill aware, so you know the truth about intersexual dynamics in this Western modern world where feminism have come in and basically messed up a lot of stuff.
Then my answer to that would be, what's the purpose? Because we are not seeing.
Yeah, but Red Pill is not responsible for the marriages being on the decline.
Yes, they are. We are all responsible for it if we want society to work. We are all collectively responsible for it. Absolutely, we are. Red Pill cannot excuse themselves of it. Do they have a voice? Are they speaking out?
But a lot of people in Red Pill have got different attitudes anyway.
It doesn't matter.
On topics such as marriage.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The main message is, don't get married. The main message that I hear from Red Pill, okay, maybe you're hearing something different, but it's like modern women are spoiled, rotten. Well, when I say spoiled, I mean they are no good, all right? So don't get married, otherwise there's always a chance of her leaving and taking half of everything and ruining your life. So the best way of dealing with these women is if you build yourself up as a man, okay? So you have the upper hand. And as long as you don't get married, you will have the upper hand. But as soon as you get married, you no longer have the upper hand, because she can just leave, right?
The big thing is, watch out for the modern women. These women are dangerous and will destroy you if you get married to them, which I think really is good advice.
Yeah, and I'm all for men watching out for modern women. I think men should be watching out for traditional women. That's my whole message, is teach men how to pick women.
That's it.
That's, to me, look, I agree with a lot of what the Red Pill says. I would say 70% of it is correct, because 70% of it is actually a man just developing themselves. Okay, But you can develop yourself all you want. If you don't know how to pick the right woman, you will fall victim to the so-called threat that they themselves are trying to warn men against.
Be aware of what a good woman is, and also be aware of what a bad woman is, because you need to deal with these women. You need to understand them to avoid them.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, yeah, you can know all about a bad woman and what makes them bad, but that doesn't teach you. Okay, listen. Okay, fine. I know a bad woman, so therefore, I know a good woman. Most of the men today are not even, how do I say, traditional enough to even recognize a traditional woman from a modern woman. Most men today, because they've been,
that's where red pill comes in. Then,
yeah. But
if you're RP aware, you will know this difference.
But my issue with the red pill is not. Yes, they do teach that difference. My problem with the red pill is that they go in against an institution that allows families and nuclear families to form. That's my problem, because right now, men are not creating families, because creating families and creating nuclear families comes from marriage. It doesn't come from what the red pill is teaching men.
A lot of what red pill teaches men is it keeps families together. A lot of it. If you read the comments and the super chats, a lot of people ring in and type in about how it's kept their marriage together. Their relationship with the girlfriend is now better. They understand each other. It is definitely keeping marriages together. If I knew about red pill during my marriage or before, I would not be divorced. 100%. I know that.
Okay. Yes, red pill teaches a lot of truth in terms of understanding women. I completely agree with you, 100%. Yes. In terms of understanding women, in terms of understanding the intersexual dynamics between men and women and so on and so forth, all of that is all true, and that can help. But eventually what matters is the institution of marriage. So, for example, if it doesn't lead to marriage, what it becomes is a promiscuous relationship. The marriage institution is what protects the woman. And that's what it does even till today. So the emphasis should always be on choosing the right woman, rather than, okay, be wary that the family law, like the laws can mess you up and they can blah, blah, blah. So men, be careful with that, because if one day she changes her mind, guess what? And what's this? If you get married, what's that? It's literally telling you not to get married, because it's like, so the emphasis, and what I'm basically saying is the emphasis should be put upon choosing the right woman.
Yeah, but the emphasis is put on choosing the right woman. That is the whole red pill thing.
I don't think so.
It is.
I think the emphasis is put on don't get married just in case you don't get violated by that woman, even though she has, in a sense, behaved herself or showed behaviors that are conducive to the idea of a good woman.
If a man follows red pill and becomes red pill aware, the woman he chooses to marry is going to be much less likely to be a woman who turns around one day and say, you know what, I want a divorce, for whatever reason it may be. That the chance of that happening is much more less likely if you're red pill aware.
But are they telling the men to get married?
No, it doesn't matter, because the chance of that happening is going to be less likely being red pill aware than being non-red pill aware.
I agree with you. Looking for these traits in women significantly increases the likelihood of that woman becoming someone that you can have a long-term relationship with. I absolutely agree with you. But the red pill message is not that, to my opinion. Red pill message is don't get married just in case.
Don't get married just in case.
Don't get married just in case.
That is great advice for a man to be even more on his game to find the right woman. That's good.
But is marriage the goal? Okay, let me ask you one question. Do you think the red pill is telling every man right now, get married?
No.
No. Is the red pill telling men right now that marriage is the goal?
No.
In your honest opinion?
No.
You just answered my question. They're not.
Yeah, but your problem with the red pill is that they're not telling people to get. It doesn't tell men not to get married, but the whole idea of of what they talk about intersexual dynamics is a big factor into keeping marriages together and making stronger marriages from the onset.
But if the goal isn't marriage, if the ending goal, you see, if I was part of the red pill and I believe in marriage, I would turn around and I would say, listen, guys, the goal is marriage. But here is the intersexual dynamics between men and women that you need to know about. And here's how you need to pick a good woman. But the goal is marriage. Guys, all of you, can you imagine me saying this? Can you imagine me? I'm part of the red pill right now, right? Guys, the goal is marriage.
You would get slated.
There you go.
You would get slated.
Because they don't believe in marriage. They are advocating, they are advocating for men not to get married. And what they don't even realize they're doing is that they're helping feminism in its goal in order to keep destroying society.
Red pill is making the institution of marriage stronger by what they're saying. And not only that, they're doing it in such a clever way, they don't even have to say that marriage should be the end goal. They're doing it in such a way that being educated in this realm will just make marriages be stronger.
I think that red pill, because their final message is not for men to get married, I think what they're doing is they're making men into promiscuous machines. They're turning men into promiscuous machines that don't look at legacy no more. Don't look at the importance of legacy. And it's all because they don't think that the end goal is marriage. If they said the end goal is marriage, I would agree with literally everything that they say. Literally. Because I'm in agreement with most of what they say. Because it's important for men to learn what the red pill is teaching. But because the end goal is not marriage, all they are doing is, it's like, yeah, become a high-value man, but become a high-value man for what? If you don't become a high-value man, you're not going to live forever.
When all the people when all the main people in the red pill space get interviewed and they get asked that question, so where's this going? Where do you end up? They all say, yeah, I'll get married one day. Yeah, they are creating promiscuous men to a certain degree as a young man to be promiscuous and find out about this modern woman, traditional woman dynamic, build up a little bit of a body count so you know when it's time to settle down, you're going to settle down. I've heard them nearly all say that they're going to settle down one day and get married and have kids. and what they're teaching is just going to make that stronger.
No, I think they're teaching them materialism. I think they're teaching them, listen, become the best version of yourself, which basically means become fit and have a lot of money. Okay, cool, fine, great. That's great. Every man should, but have a lot of money for one purpose and one reason, so you can have the say so. So no women can come to you and say anything that you don't agree with. So basically, your value is dependent upon your how much money you make. So depending on how much money you make, now you can tell the modern women what and what not to do. Whether for them to exist in your space or not exist in this space.
Point of red pill people talking about men being promiscuous is for them to learn that experience that is going to help that is going to help their marriage be a longer lasting one in the end.
So what do you say to and before we wrap up, but what do you say to according to statistics, the people that have better outcomes in terms of long-term relationships are actually a man that's a virgin and a woman that's a virgin. Don't get me wrong, it's worse if a woman is promiscuous than if a man is promiscuous. Absolutely, I agree with you. Let's say a man had a promiscuous past, right? He can still have a good, long-lasting relationship and so on. But if a woman is promiscuous, has had a promiscuous past, it's worse. But guess what? The best option, according to the statistics, is a man that's a virgin and a woman that's a virgin. They tend to last. They tend to have fruitful relationships. So fruitful long-term relationships. So this idea that a man should go out and sleep with as many women, which adds to the promiscuity, which is a big problem in society, adds to the promiscuity of it, doesn't actually help society.
I don't think that's a good idea.
What?
A man being a virgin and a woman being a virgin.
Oh yeah,
because it's not a good idea, and I don't think red pill would think that's a good idea as well.
No, they wouldn't. They definitely wouldn't. Yeah,
because as you grow and develop, as a man, you're gonna need to have experience and watch out for the woman also growing and developing in the relationship.
So what would you say to that statistic then? That shows that a man that's a virgin and a woman that's a virgin, all right, they have a better chance of actually having a fruitful long-term relationship than a man and a woman that have been promiscuous in the past.
Yeah, but what? Yeah, that.
No, look it up. Look it up.
If they're both virgins, who is the leader going to be? And if they're both virgins, you run into a big problem of the woman taking the lead role in the sexual side of things. Which
how would she take the lead role?
It's kind of 50-50 then, isn't it?
No, really.
They're both virgins.
No, they would assume they natural.
They're both finding out about sex together.
No, they would assume their natural biological proclivities,
which is men are the leaders.
Yes.
so it can't. I don't think that can work.
No. What I'm saying is, it's like if a man and a woman are virgins, then they would fall into their roles naturally.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong in that.
Go ahead.
If not, basically, I know what you're saying, but not in this Western society that's ruled by feminism. If you get a man that's a virgin and a female that's a virgin, the female will dominate because of what's happening, because of feminism, because of the way our Western society
is structured.
It is structured, and not only that, how media is portraying men, how they're lifting up women to be independent women all the time. They're gonna get all this messaging, and they will become stronger, and the man will get dominated.
Sounds like men have to work harder.
Yeah, they need to be red pill aware.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Men need to be red pill aware. Men need to be, I would say, 60% red pill aware. The end goal must always be marriage. Without the marriage institution, you cannot form nuclear families. Without the marriage institution, and the proof is in the pudding. The fact that marriages are declining and nuclear families are not forming. So what's your solution? Because I said, remember, why I have a problem with the red pill, right?
Yeah. Okay. Just to wrap it up on my side, the solution in all this is don't ignore your reasoning for being here on this earth and wanting to have kids. Don't ignore your urges to be with a woman and wanting to have children. Be aware of what's going on in society. Be aware of what feminism has done. And learn as much. If you want, if you have these feelings to have kids and get married to a woman, learn as much as you can about the opposite sex and the society and everything that's going on. The best way you can learn about this is through all the red pill. Is through all the red pill stuff, and then make up your own mind. Become really and truly aware of who you are. And build yourself up before you get married. Build yourself up as much as work on yourself, and be the best man that you can be. Be a man with status. Be a man with money, and also learn about intersexual dynamics / red pill, and that is going to help you to have a longer lasting marriage, and it will also help you to bring up your kids in the right way. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, my solution is.
So so we talked about 70% red pill. The other 30%, I would say, is how you've been brought up and what you've already learned and what your religion is. I would say that's the balance to have.
Okay. My solution would be my solution is, guys, pay attention. That's my solution. Okay, listen. The only thing that you need to take from red pill is the intersexual dynamics between men and women. You need to understand that. That's very important. That will help you a lot. But that's the only thing that you need to take from red pill. When red pill tells you to be promiscuous, they are leading you in the wrong path. When red pill tells you to not get married because the laws are unfair, they are leading you in the wrong path. The marriage institution is very important. Yes, the modern women is not worth marrying. I'm not going to lie to you. This is why you should know how to pick your woman. This is why you should know that only a traditional woman, a woman that's a virgin, a woman that believes in traditional values, a woman that has a moral foundation, is the right woman that you should be. If you're going to put your money on someone, that's the type of woman you should be putting your money on. Don't put your money on modern women. That's a waste of time. But really and truly, what you guys need to be thinking about is marrying the right woman, choosing the right woman, and getting married to them. Okay? And just make sure they are fit, feminine, friendly, and also a virgin. Most importantly, a virgin. Okay? And that they have a moral foundation. Actually, a moral foundation is also extremely, extremely important. They have a moral foundation that they believe in. That's my solution. Sorry to go on for too long, brother.
It's good.
That was a good conversation. Right?
It was.
We're going to carry on. We're going to build up for this one.